Good afternoon. It is Barbara, the East Coast Dragon Lady, coming to you again a bit later than I normally do. It's actually 3 o'clock. It is very cold here. I'm in the northeast. If you've not caught any of my videos before, don't let my accent fool you. I've lived on the East Coast of the United States since 1991. So I've been here 35 years and I haven't lost my accent, but I'm very much rooted here in the East Coast, hence my name, the East Coast Dragon Lady. So some of you have heard that story before. So my dragons have been extremely active, certainly this week. But they've sort of been building up. And when I just asked them before I came on, because I don't think a day's gone by when somebody or something has happened with my dragons, because they are literally, if you can see them, they're crowded around me. They're like anxious to step in, anxious to help us. So they were like, you need to get on and talk about this upcoming year of the fire horse, because right now, this is literally the message they're giving me. Right now, they're clearing up. They're literally showing me they're burning away all the old shit, is what they're saying. Like as we've been shedding throughout this, the year of the snake, we very much have been shedding. And as it is coming to an end, we're also coming into, full moon energy. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So that's what they wanted me to tell you, like get rid of it now, because once we step into the fire horse energy, we're going to see so many things happening and we really have to let go. If you've followed anybody else, I've certainly heard people talk about what they're seeing, what they're feeling. As you know, I listen to my dragons. I intuitively pick up things. I don't watch the news. At least for the last 3 years, stuff comes across my path, then I will read it. But for the most part, my energy doesn't like any of that anymore. And that's for a lot of us, as we have been going through this year, we've been getting upgrades. And a lot of you will be feeling that. And I was just on at a meeting where people were talking about what's been happening to them even in this past few days. So a lot more psychic attacks. So it's really, really important. So the dragons are showing me we have to be rooted. And even though I say this ad nauseum, and every week I talk about how important it is to ground yourself, because if your roots are not firmly in Mother Gaia, she can't help. That's her role. Her role is to help us get rid of that energy, transmute it into Mother Gaia, and then bring it back up through. I did share last week that I have added to my practice each morning and evening that I am now connecting my crown chakra, see roots coming out of my crown chakra, out into the ethers, and you can go as far as you want. Like when you put your roots down into Mother Gaia, I always see mine coming together and going into the soft core, the soft belly of Mother Gaia, and I describe it as locked and loaded. You can actually feel it when it goes in. I also take my chakras, I ground them in Mother Gaia, so everything around me is connected. I also need to do it because I'm a Pisces, but I found it even more important to connect my roots as well, because remember, our spine holds all of that energy, and to go out the top of our head, we need to spread them out, and then we're going to be much more connected to our galactic families. And they have come up a lot for me this past week. I've been spending time talking to I have 2 galactic races that are part of my soul guides. I have the Lyrans and the Pleiadians, and we've been talking about what they're helping me with, why it's important. So I'm really it's a getting to know you, because the work that I'm transferring into, I know the work I'm being drawn to with spirit release sort of requires us to have a dialogue with our soul guides. And even though they've been there forever, um, I'm only really learning to have a conversation with them, which is really important. The same, I have two gatekeeper dragons um, who tell me that I've always needed two gatekeepers. Some people only need one. And even though these are very big dragons, I need two of them, one on either side of me. So I was fortunate that as part of practice of SLT, I had a session on Wednesday where I did a self clearing, and I was very pleased to find out that what I'm doing is working, that I'm very clear. But what came up, which is what the dragons wanted me to share, was the person that was my medium. When I asked about, because we have a script that we follow to do clearings, and when I asked about any dark contracts, laughingly, they came back and they said, she won't have any dark contracts, she's got dragons. So it made me realize, like, really how important calling in our dragons is. I also had, and I've shared this before, that oftentimes, because I work with collectives, I don't always work with what I call individual dragons. But there's this very bright red, fiery dragon that is always around me. And he actually likes to sit on top of my car when I'm driving. He's my, and I literally can see him as this huge dragon with his tail all the way around my car holding on. And he has a cowboy hat on, big cowboy hat on, and he has a whip, and he's doing yeehaw as we're going down the highway, which I find absolutely fascinating, and he just makes me laugh. And they've made me laugh a few times this week. Also, this fire dragon, who I was like, well, who are you? And he said, I'm Freddie the fire dragon. So now I have Freddie. So I would not have thought to call the fire dragon Freddie, but that's who he is to me. And some of you may have encountered him. So it literally has been really fun to see some of these individual dragons of showing themselves to me, telling me their purpose, why they're around, and their messages to everybody. Like, we're literally just here. They're showing me we're right here, and all you have to do is invite us in. There's nothing magical about how you connect with us. Well, actually, so Merlin's saying, well, it is magical, but so Merlin has also been popping up, and he's also been popping up with a bright red hat on, which again, I haven't spent any time yet to ask him why suddenly. I've never seen him in a red hat. He always comes with the very pointed hat with the stars and the moon and like and then a staff. But he's been popping up with a bright red hat. So red is something that is being shown to me. Also, a few of you that have been sort of things have been happening, and I've said, and actually two people, I've said, oh, I'll send some dragons, and those dragons have also told me who they are and why they've appeared. I have a friend that was actually used to read tarot but has got out of practice, so she was taking a tarot class actually today, and she was saying, oh, what do you think? And I'm like, just go with whatever you need. And I said, but remember to protect yourself, because if you're going into energy that you don't know, you don't want to bring it home, or you don't, if it's on the computer, you don't want it coming to you. Remember, ground yourself, protect yourself. And I said, oh, maybe you need a dragon. And literally, as it came out of my mouth, this huge golden dragon appeared and told me that his name was Jasper and he was her dragon. Within an hour, somebody sent me something that had a golden dragon on it, and followed not long after that with this huge golden dragon that just appeared on my feed on Facebook. You can't make this up, which of course I sent to her, and she's like, oh, that's awesome. And she was like, tell him. And I'm like, no, you can talk to him, he's your dragon, just talk to him. So she has. So in her tarot class, they put a spread up right in the middle. You're going to guess this, right? Two golden dragons. And it was and this was definitely her card because it's exactly what she's going through. Um, it was because I don't do tarot, so the Nine of Wands, which signified perseverance, resilience, and inner strength, often appearing when you are weary from struggle but nearly at the finish line. It represents the wounded warrior, which is exactly what's going on for her right now. So um, I love it. I love all the synchronicities. I can't make it up, and I love it when I get confirmation that what I'm getting. And I think that's what I got out of doing a self clearing, because I also was curious about my home. I live in a condo, and there's been some weird energy both sides of me. Um, but I always protect my home every day, bring in beautiful energy, send love, send all that stuff. But I really been working on the protection, which has been working, which is good. But there was some very old, ancient energy on my land, which didn't surprise me, didn't freak me out either. And they've sort of been thinking they could get rid of me because they can see, as when we're holding so much light, those older energies get a bit irritated by us. So they were just trying to sort of irritate me, thinking I would move. Well, that didn't work. So we've cleared them out. So I was actually extremely pleased to know, because sometimes we all need confirmation to know that what I've actually been doing and what I've told has been happening is actually happening. I got confirmation of that. So that was, yeah, it was just confirmation that keep going. Because if I was told, like, oh no, you've got all these entities in the home and blah, 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 I would have been more freaked out. So that's just really confirmation. And I think we all need that. Also, I think I've shared with you that I said, be careful what you ask for and that you're very specific. And that has been happening in my full-time job. And it's sort of on the same theme that I've worked with all my life, which is not really truly being recognized for who I am, and always sort of taking the back seat. I have people testing me all the time, which has actually stopped since I actually firmly took a stand. But I have a new boss, and she is somebody that has come in and said, why are we not using your expertise? What happened? How can we fix it? Let's see what we can do. And I could really hug her because she obviously sees me and she sees the potential, but she also, and this is coming from somebody that should be retired, right? But she also sees, so we had a gathering and we had to do some fun facts about ourselves, and I really wanted to I talk to dragons, but as I've told you before, I work for the Department of Mental Health, so I thought there might be a few people sort of taking some notes. So I actually said I'm a Reiki master, and actually not many people guessed it was me. But that was just one of those fun things. But she said, I am really interested, and started asking me questions. And I'm like, well, this is what I really wanted to say. And she's really fascinated. So I think, there's this parallel going on where I can use this energy that I've been working with to put it to good use. I also have been connecting with Saint Dymphany, who, again, I shared a few weeks back, that she literally came into I got the name, it just comes into my head. She is the patron saint of mental illness and also mental health workers. And we very much need her, especially in this spirit release, to understand the people that are going in and doing this work. And also there's this beautiful dragon that works with her, Daphne. So I'm keeping them sort of, I'm cooking on ice, just so that she is around me and sort of feeding me what we need to do, because there's a lot of people with significant issues that look for some relief through spirit release, and some of them are attachments. So that's how she came into my periphery, and I'm going to continue working with her so that I can help with some of this work, which is my plan moving forward, when I eventually step down from this full-time job, I really want to go into doing this work with that lens of helping families of loved ones with mental illness, because I pull on my own personal experience with actually both of my sons, and and what it's like. I know what it's like for not to be anybody listening to you or understanding, and oftentimes that's what is needed. So that's where I am right now. I say the dragons wanted me to really just put that message out there to you that they are here, they are doing the work, and they really wanted, that's what they want. They've just reminded me, they wanted me to talk about the year of the fire horse, which actually starts February 17th. And it says the year of the fire horse. Chinese astrology is another facet of astrology. This is the year of the fire horse. This happens every 60 years. Adding to this the following year, so next year after this, will be another fire year, the animal being the goat. This is considered the red horse and red goat calamity, and this will go from February 17th, 2026 to January 25th, 2028. The last time this happened was in 1966, 1967. A lot of you weren't even born then. I was. This energy brings cultural shifts, war, natural disasters, intense change, rebellion, and progress. Fire energy, passion, enthusiasm, and movement combined with energy of the horse, this is amplified to almost a chaotic place. Some historical events in 1966 associated with the last cycle of the fire horse was the Cultural Revolution began in China, the Freedom of Information Act was signed into law in the USA, the ATM was introduced, the first successful soft landing on the moon, Luna 9 and Survivor 1. Birth rates in Japan dropped due to this, and they believed girls born during the fire horse year are too strong-willed, hot-tempered, and would eat their husbands alive. This makes me laugh. Vietnam escalated Aberfan disaster. If you don't know about that, Aberfan is a town in Wales in the United Kingdom, and it was a coal mining disaster. Star Trek and the Beatles changed the cultural landscape. The horse brings intense drive, and the goat brings a calmer resilience. When we add Uranus transitioning into Gemini and Neptune finally settling into Aries, how do we see these energies playing out for the next 2 years? Excuse me, I'm going to cough. That's what my body thinks of that. Excuse me a minute. That literally caught in my throat. So I'll clear that out. So some people I'm hearing, and I haven't experienced this myself, have been experiencing the intense energies. So the dragon card today, which I haven't posted yet, is the mind of the dragons. Let we dragons take your worries from you. We will help find a solution that will easily flow to fit your situation. Be empowered now and feel your ability to solve problems begin and grow. So that's perfect for this upcoming week. We did have a massive snowstorm here on the East Coast this last weekend. Thankfully, it's going to miss us. The next one that was coming up, I mean, we're looking at where could we put the snow. If you've seen any of my pictures on Facebook, like literally we're halfway up a tree. The car's down here and the snow's piling up. So we had about 2 foot. Haven't had a storm like that in, I think it was 2015. So quite a while. So, and of course now my nose is going to run. So I don't know what that means. Usually there's something happening when that gets involved. So I'm going to pull some cards from my Oracle deck, dragon cards. Let's see. Oh, Stargate Dragon, Grandmother Dragon, so some wise energy, and Merlin the Dragon. Listen. So as I said, Merlin has been, I really hate to sniff and I don't want to turn this off. So, because last time I did that, I lost and I've done 20 minutes. So Merlin, as I said, has been very present with me this week. And he's reminding us that we need to listen to our body, listen to what comes in on the airwaves. He's saying that it's really, really important that we pay attention to words. He's a big wordsmith. He loves playing around with words. He uses Old English, he does with me. And that's why he's saying the grandmother energy is here. This is the grandmother dragon, or grandmother of dragons. And she brings in her beautiful memories. For me, it is about remembering my grandmothers who had flower names. I had Lily and Rose, and the fragrance of roses and the fragrance of lilies just always take me back to both of my grandmothers, who actually didn't know each other. I don't think we even had family gatherings where they were at. Interestingly, they passed many, many years ago. And they were in their early 70s. They've since told me, because I do connect with people on the other side. And again, that's changed. I'm getting some people coming through again. They showed me that their plan was to come back as twins. And they were showing me linking arms and kicking their legs really high and said, we're going to be big trouble. I understand. So they're actually telling me they have in fact incarnated as twins, and they're a handful. And then the Stargate Dragon is again about our remembering where we came from. None of us were born on Earth. All of our souls are generated somewhere else, and oftentimes it's about soul memory. So it's to be open. Again, Merlin saying, listen to the words. And the Stargate Dragon is saying, be open yourself, open your heart. They're saying that's really important, that we don't have a closed heart. So let's see what the Starseed Dragons, this is annoying me, so I'm sorry. Right, they're saying they're just testing me, seeing what I was going to do. So the Starseed, this again is the Starseed Oracle deck is Rebecca Campbell. And a lot of you I know have Rebecca Campbell's Oracle decks. This is the Starseed. So let's see how these line up with the dragon messages, because that's certainly the theme that I've been seeing as I pull more than just a few cards each day. I might have to get back into doing that. So we've got the Messenger. Earth Pulsing. And Perspective. I often pull these cards, so look at that perspective. That's showing us that we're there. We're a very small part of the whole universe. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. So yeah, doesn't matter what position we're in, is what I'm hearing. This is about, again, Merlin saying, listen. He's like, listen and look. Put this in perspective. We're a very small speck in the whole big picture. And then this, I like this card, the earth pulsing, the pulse of mother, slow down, time in nature. Always waterfalls are very soothing. But also we know that Mother Gaia is pulsing. We're seeing things bubbling up, coming up. And again, it's that message from the dragons about what's coming up is coming up to be cleared. So if it's coming up from the ground, it needs to be cleared. If it's coming down here, if it's in your aura, it needs to come out. But time in nature, that can be a bit of a challenge for us that are in anywhere where there's snow. And then under the Stargate Dragon is the messenger, Sirius energy, bring harmony and balance. Interestingly, that's what I was looking at probably about 2 hours ago, was Sirius A, Sirius B and Sirius C, because I've only really understood about Sirius B. It was a planet that I spent many, many lifetimes on after Mars exploded. And I only really understood Sirius B. And then today I heard people talking about Sirius A and Sirius C. So I'm not going to try and even do that justice because I still have to get my head around it. But it's all within the star system. And again, I'm not an astrologer. And I try to understand it as it pertains to me. So these are the what are these? This is the the goddess cards. That's what I wanted, the goddess cards. So let's see what the goddesses have to say. And then I want to pull some from the activation, from the Gateway of Light activation, because I think the light coming in this next quarter is going to be pretty intense. I'm seeing very large amounts, and it's also, we're going to be coming up to clocks springing forward so that we have more light on the planet. So I'm sitting here. Usually it's warm up here and it's pretty chilly. So Hathor, receptivity. Lakshmi, bright future. That's under Mother Gaia. And Ostara, fertility. All right, so what has that got to tell us? So Hathor is under the messenger. Allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. So there she is. So again, I talked earlier about opening your heart, allowing giving, be much more giving. It's about what you put out. Lakshmi, bright future, stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. So for all of you warriors, you can only worry about what's happening in front of you. And then Ostara is fertility. It is the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. So whatever it is that you are planning to do, it's time to do it as we step into February, which February will be tomorrow. This has seemed like a very long month because there was 5 weekends. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is the 5th weekend. I say it seems like a long one, and then when I feel like I've blinked and it's February, and February is a shorter month because it's only 28 days. So let's see what the Gateway of Light activation, what gateways are going to be activated. The first one is the Emerald Tablet activation, cosmic ordering, divine alchemy, and conscious manifesting. Goes beautifully with the card from earth pulsing. Let's see. The next one is sacred inner space, sacral chakra, tenderness and sensuality. So that feels like the Stargate message. And then the last one is Venusian Galactic Council, Star Being Guides, Answer the Call, Time to Shine. Ooh, that's pretty intense card. And again, this feels like it should go under Merlin. So that's it. And I think I just want to pull, see what the crows have to say. I've been seeing a lot more scavenger. Actually, we had turkey vultures that from a distance looked like crows, and I thought they're rather large crows. And then when I sort of look closer, they're clearly hungry, and they were actually attacking some stuff around our trash, which is in the parking lot. But it was funny because from a distance they didn't look that big, and then people were saying, did you see the turkey vultures? So nighttime, okay, that's about us resting at night. Mischief, so yeah, I've just talked about my dragons being mischievous. So these, they're telling me they're just confirming what I talked about. And waterproof. So often when you see this waterproof, like water runs off your back, it's actually telling you to do just that. Words are just words. If you don't allow them in, they're not going to harm you. So let them just roll off your back is what I'm hearing for that. Mischief, yes, we know that. Crows can be very mischievous. They love to torment other animals. But it's also reminding us that it's okay for us to be a little bit mischievous, right? So I like to do a bit of that. And then this is about nighttime. The crows are sleeping, and it's about us having restful sleep. So they're reminding me that it's very important to protect yourself at night. When we all, you probably know this, but we have a silver thread that most of us will leave our physical body and go traveling, but we're always attached by this silver thread. I am very specific these days about what I want my gatekeeper dragons to do while I'm in my sleeping state. It's entirely up to you, but it's really important to ground yourself before going to bed. I usually do it before it's time for me to fall asleep, otherwise I forget. And it's bringing in light, protecting yourself however you want to protect yourself. I have what I call my nighttime pajamas, which are black, and they make me invisible. So I put on my invisibility pajamas, and then I wrap myself and protect all of my chakras. You can put yourself in a suit, you can put yourself in a protective bubble. I do a lot of that. And then I tell my dragons every night my specific instructions. It certainly helped the quality of my dreams. I'm not somebody that dreams and remembers, but when I do, and I did have, that's the other thing that happened to me this week. So after I'd done my self-clearing, and like I felt really good about that night, and I've never had a dream like this before, and it was very, very sweet. I actually realized halfway through the dream that I was dreaming, and that often happens to me. I sort of like wake up and say, oh, this is a dream, and sort of go back into the dream. I've done it for many years. And this was, sometimes it's like I want it to stop, but I still go back in because they're lessons. Every single animal that I have ever had in my lifetime here on Earth appeared in this sort of, it was almost a storyline to it, but then I'd be like, oh, that's this dog. Oh, that's that cat. They all came and all of them had their tails wagging. They were so happy to see me. And it was just, well, the words that are coming to me, it was such a blessing to see all of my animals that have crossed the Rainbow Bridge, that they were whole, they were healthy, they were so happy that they were all together and they just wanted to show themselves to me. The one that was missing, not surprisingly, was my dog that recently passed this last year, last June, who literally was a dragon and is long gone. No, he's saying he's not far away, but he literally went across the Rainbow Bridge. They gave him his dragon wings and he took off. And he says, I've got cold chills all down my back. So he's behind me and he's saying, I'm never far away, but I don't need to come back and remind you because you know that he's always been part of my dragon clan. That's nice to know. I've also been getting these, like literally things will suddenly happen and I'll get messages. And the one that has happened to me, which again, I don't very often get messages from people that have passed, because even though I've asked, I'm a channel, I channel, I'm also a medium, so I'm a channel medium, that I've asked, can I do that? Can I talk to people on the other side? And they, of course you can. If you can channel and you can raise your vibration, you can do it. Of course you can. And so there's another interesting story, and then I will go. So I was in a town, next town over. I was going to the dentist. That's all I was thinking about, was going to the dentist. I sat in the chair and I immediately heard, this is the town my dad lives in. And I was like, whoa, I know who that is. And this was somebody who passed, that there was was way too young, was about my kid's age. It was an old boyfriend's daughter. And she said, I've been trying to get a message to my dad. Can you tell him? And it was, I won't share that. Very simple message. I need you to tell him. Now, I have not seen him. The last time I spoke to him was about 3 years ago when, actually it was a text message, when he told me that this particular person had passed under suspicious circumstances. And I was like, I'm not sure what to do with this because it is very personal, especially if people don't believe in that or they think there's some other motive to it. So I tried to explain without, sending like pages and pages, and just said, I know, because I didn't do it straight away, she kept bugging me. Have you told my dad? Have you told my dad? Have you told my dad? So I'm like, I don't know if your dad's even going to respond, but I will give him that message, which is what I've done. And then this morning, she popped into my morning meditation, and rather than say the name of, because I often name the people that I'm connecting with, another name popped up and I went, wait, that's not who my guide is. And she was then like, no, that's the person that I want you to understand. So she again gave me a scenario. So I can't hold on to it. I never feel that it's right. And in my message was, you don't need to respond to this, but I do know I have to give you the message and then you can do with it. So many years ago when I was literally coming into my gifts, I actually I had a friend in England whose mother came through to me while I was out walking and asked me to relay information. And apparently it freaked her out. And I don't think she ever really talked to me after that. While I was in nursing school, I was very close with the family. We used to go on I used to go on vacation with them as her friend. I knew her mom and her dad, and it was about the mom who had already passed wanted her to release her father, who had had multiple strokes, needed to go but was hanging on because she kept asking him not to leave her. And that was the message I relayed. So sometimes we're given these gifts and we just have to do with them, right? I've long ago put no attachment to these things. Like they're either going to accept it or they're not. It's either, but the message was delivered. So that's what I think I'm learning from that. And then there are times that people have asked me, often when I would do hands-on Reiki, loved ones would come through. They would actually appear, which again, I never really freaked out. I'm realizing that this has happened to me like lots of times, and I would just say, "Oh, your mum was here," or "Oh, so and so was here," because they'd always tell me who they were. So you never know what's going to come through, right? So if that interests you, if it's something you would like to explore, I'm always open to, because the dragons always tell me whatever you want to do, you can do. Same for you, not just me. This is a message for all of us. So again, I'm only here to give messages, but if I can be of help, I would love to explore that with you. I have, for a few of you who have sort of asked me questions. If your loved one, like sometimes the mother will want to give their daughter a message, I'm always available to help with all of those things. I do have a website, which is www.eastcoastdragonlady@gmail. So www.eastcoastdragonlady.com, and then my Gmail address is eastcoastdragonlady@gmail.com. You can get me either way. There are things on my website that are not on YouTube. You can also message me through YouTube as well. So excuse me, this will go up on YouTube. I will take a picture of all these beautiful cards, and if you have questions, like always, please reach out to me. I do offer a 45-minute clarity call. That can be to ask a question, just to check with me, check in if there's any services I can offer you. At some point, once probably later on this year, I'm hoping to get certified as in SRT, and eventually have my own team, is what they're telling me, or people that I can work with, because if we're mediums, we need to have somebody to go through the protocol. So we work in pairs. But if it interests you, again, ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. So I hope you all have a good week. Stay warm and take care.